Hey, it's Chris Pontius from Jackass and Wild Boys, and it's time for MattieC Sports for You and Me. MattieC Sports for You and Me, food for the sports fan's infernal soul. Feast on field goals. Check out MattieC Sports for You and Me. Even if you don't like sports, tune in now because you are going to. It's that good. I mean, we got sports for guys, sports for gals, sports for the whole kids. Get ready to be happy. MattieC Sports for You and Me. Sports for you, sports for me. Brought to you by MattieC.
On this team, we fight for that itch. On this team, we tear ourselves and everyone else around us to pieces for that itch.
Coming in at 320 kilobytes per second. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for MattieC Sports for you and me.
When it comes to getting dough and chasing dollars.
What's up, everybody? MattieC Sports for You and Me. And one of my favorite guests who comes on the show always has a smile on his face, but when he's in the ring, I wouldn't want to be in there. Slippery Peter Barrett. What's good, man? How you doing tonight?
Yo, what's up, Matty? Great to be on. And I try to smile when I'm in there too. You can see me with that shit-eating grin ear to ear as I'm throwing knees and elbows.
Yeah, man, it's a special kind of thing seeing you fight, man. I mean, you've done this for a long time, and some good, some bad, but you know what? You're still fucking working hard, man, for sure. So you got to fight at Cage Titans 50, and this is like a big deal. This is like stacked to the brim. I mean, this thing goes from noon to probably late night, probably like 11 or something. And I mean, you've been around this organization for years, and Mike, who is in charge of this pretty much, Paul Vare, he's a good dude, stand-up guy. How's it feel to be with this Cage Titans organization?
Oh man, it feels great. You know, I've spent my whole career with them outside of my fights with the UFC at the next level. And, you know, I'm super grateful for it. Yeah, he's probably one of the best guys to fight for. There's no bullshit. You never have to, there's not a lot of red tape. He's pretty up forward. I mean, he's pretty forward. He's up straight, and he goes out of his way to take care of his fighters, whether, you know, it's your first amateur fight with him or you're a seasoned veteran like me. You know, he's put in the effort for everybody. So fighting for Cage Titans is awesome. And I mean, I think I fought on their first show at the Union Hall in Dorchester at the IBEW. And then, you know, I've just watched it grow over the years at Memorial Hall, and it's just been an incredible journey.
I was just going to say, what an atmosphere Plymouth Memorial Hall is. Like all the fans just all rowdy, and it's like historical value being in the Plymouth area. And just like when I was at your fight last, it was just a sea of neon green sweatshirts and t-shirts. And it was pretty cool to see your fan base, and along with the other fighters. I mean, there were some great fights the last time I went. I didn't catch this one, but the last one, I mean, and then this one is just going to be off the chain, man. I mean, amateur fights the beginning of the day, and then at night it's just full-blown pro, all-out brawls going on. So, I mean,
yeah.
I mean, how do you feel about like that? Like this feels like it's more amped up than a regular Cage Titans. Not that any other Cage Titans was bad, but I'm saying like just the hype of it's 50, it's massive amounts of fights. Like it's going to be crazy.
It's awesome. This is the first time where he's done a double header event, like 2 events on the same day. So it'll be super interesting to watch it come together. But if anybody's going to do it, it's going to be Mike. He runs everything right. He's got his roles, responsibilities, expectations set going into it. He knows what he needs to expect from everybody, and they all know what they need to provide him to make sure that everything goes smooth. So it's really incredible to see the enormity of this event. You know what I mean? Like all the best amateurs in New England are going to be at Cage Titans. All the best pros in New England are going to be fighting at Cage Titans, and there's going to be a lot of exciting fights. There's going to be, it's just going to be it's pretty much like a jamboree of fighting. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's like a car show. It's just you're seeing all sorts of different things going on. Like compared to like a different car, you're going to see a different fighter all day and all night, which is like just amazing to me. I mean, with myself being introduced to CES, another organization here in the New England area, and they had a back-to-back. They had a boxing one night and a MMA one night. So it was like now these guys are all starting to do this thing at one time of doing kind of super cards. Well, what I would think you'd call it. And I mean, you're one on the super card. So, I mean, and these people around here know you very well. And from the things I've seen, like, you see little clips of like, different weigh-ins and different stuff. And I see them wearing Slippery Pete stuff like this. You can get it at slipperysworld.com. Yeah, I mean, like I was saying, like you're not going away. Like that's the thing. It's like during pressers, like I see your shirts more than anybody else on the whole circuit. So it's like, it's amazing how you're not even on that card or in that Cage Titans and you're all over, like it's great to see.
It's an awesome community. Everybody's supporting everybody. And of course it helps that, I got to the next level, which kind of allows a lot of people to be like, all right, I don't have to hate on this kid anymore. I can kind of support him in what he's doing because now he's one of the best of us going to compete at the next level. And that's kind of, I feel like that happens a lot in this sport where you might not like a guy, you might have a beef with them, and then you see them get to the next level. And, whether you like him or not, he's the representative of your scene at the next level. So you better support that motherfucker because he's putting his best foot forward for you too. And I think that is kind of what happened. And I think that's, the entourage effect of what you're talking about. You're seeing my shirts at weigh-ins of other guys, amateurs, other pros that, and it helps that, my shirts are always super fucking dope, right? Because you got to keep it fresh with everything. All you got a sneak peek of the new one right there.
Actually, yeah, right here. So if you are a cool person, you need to have that sweatshirt or that T-shirt. And if you missed out, then shame on you. I mean,
it's a very short list of the swag this time around.
Yeah, so if you missed out, well, you know what you can do. But yeah, so I mean, you're a local guy. You're a 9-to-5 guy who, you see somebody and they like, you're treated not just like a UFC fighter, MMA fighter, like you're a down to earth person who is down to, talk to you and shoot the shit with you. And like where other guys in MMA are just like, oh, hey, like I'll do this interview. Are we done yet? Like, that's what I don't appreciate, if you're on my show, you're like your family, and like, it seems like you had that with your fans and even fighters that you go along with. And that's a pretty big deal because some guys are just kind of assholes. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I just try to be as genuine as I can. And I mean, if you're willing to take the time out of your day to give me a little press, I should be willing to give you some undivided attention. You know what I mean? That's my biggest concern when I'm doing stuff in my car. I'm like, I don't want the people to think I don't have the time to give you my completely undivided attention. But like while driving, that's like the longest I'm sitting still in one place at one time. So I got to double dip a little bit. But yeah, I mean, it's always the mutual respect thing. And it's about building relationships, and like some people live and die by the good press, bad press, it's all press. But I'd rather 100 people saying, hey, he's one of the nicest guys I've ever had on my show than, have, 75-25 for and against me. So I just, it's a respect thing. I support your hustle and you support mine.
Right. You're a vet in this show. So I think I got to get you to 5 episodes because that's how many rounds it goes, a full distance for a UFC fight. So we'll make sure that happens.
Yeah, we'll get our championship rounds in for sure.
So let's get to the real deal. You got Spencer Higa, kind of aged man himself, 34. He's had some decent places he's been, Bellator and stuff like that. I've heard he's hand friendly with his punch. He's had a couple knockouts with punches and stuff like that. How in your mind are you gonna defend against his style of fighting?
Man, I'm a huge advocate of highly calculated violence, and I just think there's going to be a whole lot of that coming. Looking back on my last fight, there were some things that I was in my own head, and I'm like, I'm just gonna focus on these aspects and not so much on the other. And I think I need to bring all my tools to the party and put them to work from the very get-go. So I'm looking to start the fight with a bang. I'm looking to come out with some high energy. No slow starting on this time around, and I really want to put this dude away. I'm pretty sure all of his losses were decisions. I could be wrong. Maybe I think
I believe 2 of them were his last 2 were a decision.
Yeah, he's primarily he's a decision fighter. So we know he's tough. Who we got to look to see. These Hawaiian guys. I mean, they're tough sons of bitches. Like Max Holloway, Yancy Medeiros is at the next level. These are some of the toughest motherfuckers in the UFC, and he's no different. You know what I mean? They got that warrior spirit in him, and he's gonna go out on his shield. I just need to put that shield out there in front of him to fall on. So that's going to be the focus of the fight for me. It's always trying to get in and out as fast as possible. As awesome and as glorious as like wars, 3-round, 4-round, 5-round wars are, if you're in a championship fight, I think that I think I'd like a quick 1-round knockout, you know what I mean? Or submission. I see maybe I hit him a few times, wobble him on his feet, take him down, get his neck, take my hat off to Joe and say, hey, that submission was for you. He likes to joke with me and give me shit about the quality of my jiu-jitsu. Sorry if that jumped out for a second.
That's okay. No big deal.
So yeah, so Joe likes to joke and make pick bones with me about the quality of my jiu-jitsu because he knows it's good. It's just never on display when I fight. So maybe this time around I can pay homage to the master himself and snatch up a neck.
Yeah, I mean, and looking from you're not afraid to show aspects of your training regimen, and it seems like you have a different light on your career and how you want to manage your career. Like you look like you're determined to just go all out and do all your sorts of exercises and stuff, like, and you're full blown showing it, and like you're showing no mercy, like Cobra Kai bullshit. You know what I mean? Like you're going all out. So I mean, like it's cool to see that you're showing people like I'm putting in the work. Like I don't give a fuck if anybody sees that or not, but you see it, you're gonna know.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, man. And I have been putting in the work, and I'm really looking forward to all my hard work paying off with not only a great fight, but a fucking victory. I feel like my last 3 fights have all been incredible performances. I've just been on the other side of them. And that, as unfortunate as that is, I need to actively put my foot down and change that shit. And I think, next weekend on November 6th is going to be the date where I get that tick in the win column again, and it's going to be very dominating, and it's going to be refreshing, and it's going to be amazing, and everybody's going to smile and go, "Oh, there he is again. That's the motherfucker I fell in love with," and it's going to be a blast.
Yeah, and it is good to see that you're in a positive light right now. And I felt your last fight, come from the outside looking in, that you did literally win that fight. And it's not only because you've been on my show, it's because of his style of fighting wasn't that great. He wasn't really fighting back as he should, And
Right.
I mean, of course, the power bomb heard around the world.
Of course, that was amazing.
It was, and it wasn't on ESPN. I was pissed.
I didn't understand that either.
But yeah, I mean, that fight against Ali, I mean, he comes in and, he heard different things about his pre-fight stuff and how he was doing some shady things. But beside the point, you go into this fight and, he caught you with a good one at the end, but you were still going and you still had that fight. And I mean, I feel like you were robbed. I mean, how do you feel about that fight in particular?
Oh, I 100 and wholeheartedly agree with you. I feel like I won that fight, and the judges took that away from me. That's another, lesson learned. Hey, Peter, don't let your fights go to a decision. If you want to have complete control over the outcome, you need to finish your opponent by any means necessary, or by all means possible. So, that's why I'm going to be getting back in there looking to finish this dude and put him away quick.
And with that, I mean, I'm sure you're still in contact with, UFC here and there, or, I mean, has any other league reached out to you, like PFL or Bellator or anybody like that?
No, not yet. I would imagine that, there's a lot of organizations with their eyes on me. They just want to see me win a few fights before they reach out to make sure it's not like, I'm not losing interest in the sport, and these are just my last few exit fights. You know what I mean? So I think I'm a few fights away from phone calls from multiple organizations. I just need to put my money where my mouth is and win some fights and go from there.
And I remember you discussing with me the last episode we had about how you yourself said you need to get a certain amount of fights in order to like kind of be considered, like we talked about then. And the fact that, you yourself are not going to fight a guy who's a scrub who really is kind of getting into the game and nobody really knows. Like, you're fighting guys that are just as hungry as you. And I mean, is it something that you can control yourself? I just never understood. Like, can you have it to where like Higa right now, like, is he one that, you can pick to fight? Like, hey, like, this dude is pretty much on my level.
We always have a say in who we fight. It's just, Higa, it was a really good name that, even on paper, you look at it, you're like, oh yeah, Peter should win this fight, no problem. Those are the types of fights we're looking for, but we can't take those fights against, the garbage men taxi drivers. They have to be reputable fighters with good records that are tough as shit. And, Higa has, he's got a decent record. He's a tough kid. And we know he fights from bell to bell. You know what I mean? I don't think I've ever seen footage of this kid giving up or just, quitting in a fight. The kid's got a lot of heart in him, and he fights like a dog.
Yeah, and like you said, those Hawaiian guys do. They got a lot of heart.
They're fucking tough.
Yeah.
Like, you can't, they got their fucking warrior blood's running through their veins, dude. You know what I mean? And it just shows in the way that they fight.
Yeah. Yeah, but they don't got the hard ass Massachusetts style that we do.
They don't have the ice running through their veins. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, they don't know what a winter storm is. You got to shovel you got to shovel yourself out to go to the fight.
Dude, I've had to shovel my way out to go to weigh-ins before. I've had to shovel my way to go cut weight before. I've had to I've had to shovel my way out to get to everything at one point or another in my life.
If you haven't from Massachusetts, that means you're a spoiled little brat.
Probably. Yeah.
At
Yeah,
least
most definitely.
at least in a manly sense, at least.
Absolutely.
So Pete, with this fight, I mean, do you still stay with Cage Titans? I mean, do you have like pretty much an allegiance to them for right now?
Yeah, I mean, if it's not broke, don't fix it. I can get all the fights that I need with Mike and Cage Titans and not have to travel. Before Cage Titans was back, I talked to Mike at length about possibly going and fighting for other promotions. It's just a conversation that I think with the type of relationship that we've grown and forged over the years, that he would deserve to have that conversation directly with me, not like from my manager. And after him finding out that I've signed a fight with someone else, like we spoke at length about it. And when he gave me his timeline and his game plan, we decided that my timeline and my game plan kind of matched up with his, and there was no need to go fight anywhere else, that we could do it all here in Plymouth with my fans in front of my folks and do it with minimal costs, no travel, no hotels, no room and board. Like I can sleep at home in my own bed, cut weight in my own bathtub, and, drive my own truck to weigh-in. So why change all that if we don't have to? So Mike's got, when I'm done fighting, I'll probably be the matchmaker for Cage Titans. Who the fuck knows? Maybe Mike will pass the torch off to me in a few years. Like, me and Mike are tight. We're super close, and there's no need to go anywhere else.
There definitely is it definitely seems that way. And you guys have, I mean, you're pretty much, like you said, I feel like you're the poster boy for that, for the Cage Titans and stuff. I mean, you went to the UFC and, you had a major following. And of course I wanted to make it to Vegas. Shit. Like, I'd go there. I remember, I think we were talking about how you were going to Vegas, and I said, yeah, you're going to United Arab Emirates or whatever. I asked you if you were going to Fight Island. I said, good luck at Fight Island. You're like, nah, brother, I'm going to Vegas. I was like, oh man, like what an idiot I look like on that shit. But I'm glad you saw that experience, and you think you can come back to that higher level of UFC or Bellator, PFL.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, what did we see last night? We saw Glover Teixeira win the belt at 42 years old. Like, this whole age game is a factor, but only if you make it a factor. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, Glover Teixeira, 42 years old, has been fighting his whole life, still has a good head on his shoulders, still can speak in complete sentences, is not a name that you see with an arrest warrant or issues with DV cases. Like, he's a stand-up fucking dude. And he just, is a great person to look up to in the sport and say, listen, this dude's he's older. He's probably the oldest UFC champion, maybe outside of the guys in the fucking very beginning when they were still doing the bare knuckle, no rules stuff. But I imagine that, much like Tom Brady is redefining athletics in the mainstream narrative, you have older athletes in the UFC that are like reigning champions. I think the average age of most UFC champs is around 35 to 37. And then you got a 42-year-old who just came in and fucking snatched up the title after a fucking hard-fought win. So, I think I don't know how I got such a long-winded answer to that question, but the fact of the matter is, I forget.
Yeah.
I got so sidetracked thinking of Glover Teixeira and the fights last night that I forgot where I was trying to bring it back to.
Well, I mean, your age hasn't really shown in your fights. I mean, there's people that you're just like, yes. you need to stop right now. Like you said, age is just a number. And I've seen it happen. And, I remember, Jesus Christ, Tim Silva coming, one of the first sanctioned fights in Worcester, him coming back, and he was up there. I think he was in his late 30s, early 40s at the time, but he was still whooping people. Wasn't really a comfortable scene because he fought a Polish fighter, and it was all, that whole country was in that arena. I'm telling you right now, it was crazy. But anyways, like I said, I mean, age really is just a number, and it's surprising that but it all is different though, because fighters back then, or, you know, in boxing too, they were just, you know, 9 to 5 blue collar guys that, you know, were still eating Oreos all the time. And, you know, it seems like from you, like you're teaching people different vitamins, different ways to eat, different ways to meditate, different things to do, where a lot of people don't show that type of way to do things. You know, like it seems like you have a good regimen of your eating habits and your intake of different things.
Yeah, I mean, I think I do the best I can with what I've got. That being said, I've gone way above and beyond to learn about nutrition to make my fighting easier. And it's really hard to unlearn or forget things that you've learned. And once you figure out like the dark, hidden, sick, twisted things that go on in the food industry, the more likely you are to get to eating just like protein and vegetables and basic carbohydrates. But, you know, there's always a better way to do it. And with the information that I have presented with me presently, that I like to advocate to others on little ways that they can also improve their lifestyle and their forms of living. So it's just, you know, practice what you preach.
So my big question to you, what do you eat for dessert, dude? You're not eating fucking avocados, right? You're not doing avocado ice cream.
You say that. So no, not avocado ice cream, but I'll make like I'll blend a banana, an avocado, some baking powder, some honey, couple eggs, whip all that together, make like a batter, and then sprinkle some chocolate chips in that shit and make muffins out of them. And they're pretty damn good.
Interesting.
So and I also put a ton of protein, of like collagen protein in them as well. So it's like they're flourless peanut butter, avocado, banana protein muffins, and they're bomb. So there are ways to eat. There are ways to eat, you know, bomb ass healthy food if you spend the time to figure it out.
Makes sense. I don't know if I'll be doing that anytime soon, but I think I want to try it now. Now that it sounds pretty interesting. Chocolate chips and bananas and shit.
Yeah, so it's like bananas. So normally you would do like peanut butter, bananas, baking soda, and eggs. I made it a little bit healthier by putting raw honey, avocados, and protein powder in there. And then I used like this chocolate made with stevia instead of sugar. So there's no sugar in it either outside of what's in the bananas. So you're looking at a pretty healthy option for a sweet tooth dessert.
Okay, so you're gonna put that on the menu, right? You're gonna introduce that.
Yeah. I'll put that recipe up in my bio.
Well, my final thing for you, Pete, alongside the jokes is, you know, this week is a pretty big week. So what's in it for you for, you know, for after the fight? What's in it for, you know, to prepare for this week? What mentally do you need to do to get ready for this week? And again, what's your plan for after the fight, regardless of the outcome?
Yeah, I mean, this week is a lot of light cardio, a lot of shadow boxing, a lot of movement, not lifting a whole ton of weights, if any, maybe just do some light stuff to keep my joints fresh and all that goodness. But really just staying active, burn off the last few pounds of the weight cut, and focus on rest, you know. So probably like a hard session in the morning, middle of the day off, and a hard session late afternoon. And then just really focus on the rest and recovery aspect of it. And then after the fight, you know what I mean? After the fight, we'll probably go up to Regina's in the North End, crush a fat pizza, put on 10 pounds, maybe stop and get some pastries on the way home, and you know, just have ourselves a grand old time of celebrating a good victory.
Fucking right, man. No Beth Israel for you, bro.
No, we're keeping this stuff looking pretty today.
Yes, sirree. Yes, sirree. So I wish you nothing but the best for the fight, and I will be there as press over there. So the winners go over there, and you better fucking be over there. I'll be pissed.
I will see you in the press circle, my friend.
Yeah, the little circle, little gang we got. Me and my co-partner, you know his name, Mr.
It'll be
Hayes.
a grand old time. Yeah, for sure.
And for all those people, again, if you're fucking stupid and you don't have this thing, please buy one of these. Or if Pete has any more, get one of those bad boys.
Definitely. Hit me up.
Go to Cage Titans in Plymouth at the Memorial Hall. Fights start at 12. Pete will probably be around, 7:30, 8-ish?
All right, so let me clarify. So the amateurs are gonna go from 12 to 4. The hall is gonna be emptied from 4 to 6 or 4 to 6:30. Doors are gonna open, and then it's gonna be the pro event. So there will be a break in the day. But that being said, I think I'm gonna fight around 9:30.
Even better. So you gotta wait for that shit. Wait for the awesomeness to come. Wait for the highly calculated violence. And
it's coming.
Yeah. And Mr. Higa, no offense, I hope you don't come back to Hawaii with a victory. And again, good luck, Pete. And I will see you there. And maybe you can make me some muffins after you win the big victory.
Maybe I'll make a batch after the weigh-ins and I'll bring you some on Saturday.
Sounds good, bro. All right. Well, thanks again, and we'll talk soon.
Yeah, man. Thanks for taking the time to have me on. I appreciate you.
Oh, anytime, Pete.
Right on, brother.
All right. I'll talk to you.
Peace.
What's up? We the BMG boys, and thank you for listening.
Please follow his Facebook page and subscribe to his podcast at Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. Let's go.
We tell them no mercy.
When it comes to getting dough and chasing dollars.